The other day I'm on a long distance phone call on my cell phone, and I'm talking away, having the time of my life, doing what I like to do most, talk. And I'm just going, motor mouth. About a minute into the conversation, I'm getting a phone call. My phone is buzzing, which it shouldn't be doing. That's when I pull it down and I notice the person that I've been sitting there talking to for over a minute is now calling me back. I answer the phone. And he said, well, we were disconnected. I haven't heard anything for a long time. The phone just went dead. We're not connected. I didn't know that. I was just communicating. I was going off in my own little world and I had no idea about the other person that I was trying to communicate with. We were not connected. You remember the TV commercial. I think they're still running it. I'm not sure. The guy's walking around and he's saying, can you hear me now? And he takes a couple of more steps and he says, can you hear me now? That's a connection problem. And connection, or lack thereof, is what's causing most of our frustration, misunderstandings, and lack of acceptance with other people. Those are the things we desire most. We want to be understood. We want to be heard. It's a deep need of ours. So because it's such an important need, we make a critical mistake in our relationships. We jump from the first step, which is connection, making sure you establish a connection, not just with your cell phone, but with everybody around you. New people and people you've been around forever. We still have to go through the process. The process of the 4 C's. Connection. That leads to communication. Now we can share our information, your idea, your plan, whatever it is that you want to share. Then you can get in there, but first you must establish connection. Because if there is no connection, then you're like me on the phone. We're just rambling on, but nobody's listening. Even though they're smiling politely, nobody's here anymore. They have disconnected from you for whatever reason. We have to go back and establish connection. Connect, communicate, then we get cooperation. Cooperation is fun, but it's nothing like the final C. It is the holy grail of connecting. It is collaboration. That's when both parties are united in a partnership. We both want it as much as each other. We want to go from connection to collaboration. That's where we all want to get to. We want to get to that point. But the most important process is the first C. I have to learn to connect. I've got to learn to connect before I communicate. I was on a sales call a couple of weeks ago with one of our team. An important sales call. Large business we've never been in before. We have no relationship with. We sit down and immediately the person I'm with, the sales rep, starts launching into our business, talking to this business about our business, how we got started, all this information. And immediately, the first opening I could, I stopped the conversation and guided it to a different place because I could tell that the owner and his daughter were not connected. They didn't care. And rightfully so, why should they? We're coming in, we're trying to sell them before we got to the connection part. We jumped to communication before we had connection. We started guiding the conversation now on the things they liked. It was all about them, not about us. We weren't talking about our business. We weren't talking about sales. We weren't talking about how we can change our business. We started talking about them, what was important to them. We were asking them questions about their life, why they were doing what they were doing, where they came from, what do they like best about it, what do they like best about this new area, favorites this, favorites that, vacations. It took us at least 10 minutes, but you could tell when it happened. We found connection. That means they were open because we started talking to the heart instead of the mind. When we first start talking this, logic, we're going to lose people. We have to talk to the heart first, the emotional part first, and that will open up the person's ears. We have to learn to connect first. You see our politicians, we're all complaining about our politicians. They're a gridlock in Washington. This side wants this side wants this, and they don't want to communicate. The problem is, they're jumping into communication before they have connection. And we're doing it also. We're just as guilty as the politicians. We must learn to connect first, then graduate to communication. Once we do that, we can go all the way to collaboration, and that's where the fun and the real magic starts to happen. But you have to constantly be asking the question in your mind when you're sitting with somebody, on the phone with somebody, can you hear me now? How about now? Can you hear me now? And what that means is, are you speaking to the heart? Can they not just hear you, but can they feel you? Have you connected with them? And if you can get to connection and you can maintain connection, oh, wow, you're going to make it rain. Don't forget the first C. Connect first before you go on. My name is Ed Carcarey. I'd love to connect with you further. You can find me at edcarcarey.com. I'd love to hear about your story and about your connection tips and what you do in your communication processes. Find your passion, you'll find your life.